today's session. So today we'll talk about how to create this water bottle in NX. So this is what we are going to do. Quickly show you the the bottle all around. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. Let's see how to do it. Okay, I'll close this file. I'll take a new file. Just say okay. So for that, first I need to to create a water bottle, it has to be in multi sections. So for that, I will first define different planes. So for that, I go to home option, go to datum plane, and then I say at a distance of and I pick the reference as XY plane. And let's say I need the first one to be at 120 mm, sorry. Okay, and then I apply, and I need another plane on top of it at the distance of 180. So I do that as well. So you see I have created two planes at a distance of one is at 120, one is at 180. Both are taken from the reference of XY plane. Okay, so once this is done, we should start doing the sketch. So first let's do the sketch on the very first plane, that is 180 mm from the XY plane. So for that, I go to sketch command, pick the first plane, and then just say okay. I remove the auto dimensioning. So what I want to do, I will do a circle with a diameter of 44. So when I do a circle, I want it with center point and diameter, not with 3 point. So I change it center point and circle, and I say diameter of 44. Okay, so this is my first circle is done. Once this is done, I will draw the second circle on the second plane, that is 120 mm from XY plane with a diameter of 80. So I exit this sketch and then create a new sketch, pick the second plane, say OK, and the second circle I will take it with a diameter of 80. Okay, something like this. So I've drawn both the sketches. So next I have to draw the bottom base plate or the base of the water bottle. So for that I will take first a square which is 80 of 80, 80 by 80. So I take the next sketch. I pick the XY plane, just say OK, and then water dimensioning, go to rectangle, use this third method from center, pick this one and just say like this, and I give this dimension as 80 by 80. Okay, so this is my base. So my base is ready, the base of the bottle. And then what I do, I will do filleting on this one. Let's take a fillet of 30 mm. So I say 30, say OK, and then I pick the edges like this, and I say finish the sketch. So now if you see, so this is my base of the bottle, this is the middle portion, and this is the top portion, the lip of the water bottle. So all these three sketches are now done. So next, what we'll do, we will have to do the side profile of the water bottle. For that, we will use a spline curve. So in order to do that, what I can do, I can take this particular plane, a perpendicular plane, let's say XZ plane. I pick the sketch, pick this plane, and just say OK. Dimensioning, and I go here and I say Studio Spline, and randomly I'll place some 5 splines, and later we can constrain them. Okay, So what I do, let's take one and one more here, two, one more here, three, four, and then the fifth one, something like this. Just a rough spline, something similar to a water bottle shape you can just give and just say okay. So once you have this profile, so now let's try to dimension them. Okay, so what I will do, uh, I will take the first point. So what we'll try to do first, make sure this particular point and this point are concentric, or is it in the, it is in the same coincident here, these 2 points, and similarly this point is coincident with this point, and this point is coincident on the top uh, sketch as well. So first let's do it and then we'll dimension it. So for that, what I do, I press concentric, sorry, constraint. So geometrical constraint, and then pick coincident. I pick this point, pick the middle button, or go to the next constraint and pick this point. Okay. So now this point is now constraint. So similarly, I will pick this point. So, but here you see we don't have a reference point here. So for that, what you can do, you can try to create an intersection point here. It is creating on the other side. Okay, let's create, I'll flip it and I just say okay. So we have received a point here, and similarly I will create an intersection point on this curve, flip direction. We have received the point here, just say okay. And now you can continue to apply the constraint for coincident with this point and middle button with this point, and again this point and coincident with this point. So now you have something similar to a shape of a water bottle. Okay. So now once this is done, let's try to give a proper curvature by using dimensions. So for that, the second point, I will dimension it by 43 mm, this point, with respect to the vertical axis. I'll just orient the sketch so that it is perpendicular, normal to the screen. So this I said it is 43. We'll do it like that. And then the first point height, I will make it also vertical height. Let's say it is 15 mm. Okay. And then the third point here, I will give the horizontal dimensioning as 35. This one, 35. And the the fourth point, let's give the vertical dimension to be 70. Okay. Saying somewhere it is over constraint. Let's delete this and then give that value again. Okay. We'll hide the point. Maybe it's taking the point. So now if I pick this, you have to pick the spline point. Okay. It's still showing as over constraint. Let's try to rotate and pick the right point here. Okay, let's try to figure it out. We'll define this point with respect to x-axis and let's say 70. Okay, so now you see the sketch is fully constrained. So all the curves are done. So similarly, what we do next is we will mirror this on the other side. So for that you can use this mirror curve, pick the curve and the center line to be this one. So now you have mirrored it, say OK. So this side of the bottle is now done, the guiding curves, just say finish. And similarly you need to take the other vertical plane. So this side we have done now. So now let's try to do it with YX plane, or sorry, YZ plane. Same curve we need to do. Just say OK, pick the YZ plane and then just say OK. Turn off auto dimension. Same strategy. Pick 5 points. Same thing that we need to do here. Okay. So same thing here as well. We need to make it coincident. This one and this one we will make it coincident. But before making coincident, we need an intersection point. So pick this one. Okay, you have got an intersection point. And same thing on the top curve as well. Pick this curve, just say okay. And then you can now constrain with the coincident. Okay. So now we will try to give the same dimensioning what we did on the other side. And orient the sketch. So same thing. So this one with respect to y-axis, it should be 43. This is what we have given last time. And then the vertical height with respect to the x-axis, it should be 15. Okay, and for the second point, it should be horizontal is 35. And the vertical is 70. Okay, it's done now. Then we need to do a similar symmetry on the other side. So for that, we do a mirror curve. Pick this one, and this will be my center line. And just say okay. And I finish my sketch. So now you can see. So these are the base for my water bottle, and these are the 4 guiding curves that we have drawn all around it. Okay, so now let's try to build the surface using these sketches. So to build the surface, I will use through curve mesh. So I'll use to go to surfacing, and you will find through curve mesh here. Pick this, and then once you get into this command, you will have 2 sets here, as you can see, primary curves and cross curves. So in this case, the 3 sections that we drew very beginning, that will be our primary curves, and when we say cross curves, it's nothing but the guiding curves. Okay, so now let's start with the primary curve. So I start from the base here. Okay, this is my, once the first primary curve is selected, press the middle button to go to the next one. Then pick this. I flip the direction to make sure it is in the same direction. Press the middle button and then the last one. So now everything is in the same direction. Okay, so all my primary curves are done. Now I go to the cross curves. Pick the first one. So I pick this to be my first cross curve. And then once this is picked, you can use the middle button to pick the second one. Okay, you get a twisted surface. So delete this and try to change the curve. Let's see if we are getting a proper curve here. No, it's basically because of the picking issue, direction issue that we had. So go to through mesh, through curve mesh. We'll start from the top. Better to keep it as a single curve. Okay, this is in this direction. Let's try to maintain the same direction. Okay, both are in the same direction. Pick the third one. There is an issue here, so we'll delete this and then pick from here. Now you see all three are in the same direction. It's better like that. Now you see all three are in the same direction. Okay, but we made a mistake that it should be the third cross curve, the third primary curve. So I deselect completely, press the middle button, and then I press this one. Then I start looking. Now my third cross curve, third primary curve is done. Now I go to the cross curves. Pick this to be my first cross curve, and then middle button, the second one. So now you see once you have a proper direction, the flow is also proper with respect to the surface. And then I press the middle button. I pick the third one. I pick the wrong curve. Press shift to deselect, and then this again. Issue again. Better to delete in that case, and pick it again. Middle button. Okay, and then middle button. The fourth cross curve. Okay, and then the first one to have the closing surface again. Middle button. Pick the same cross curve. So now you see our bottle profile is completely done. Okay, and then we need a surface, so better to change the body type as sheet and just say okay. Now you see you have got the outer profile of the water bottle here. Okay, so till here I hope it's clear. Once this portion is done, so we see there is a opening at the bottom, so let's close it using a bounded plane. Since it is a same planar one, so you can use a bounded plane to close that surface. Okay, so we have closed the bottom face. Okay, next what we'll try to do, we need to have some grooves right on the water bottle to improve the rigidity. So we will have some depressions on the water bottle. So now let's try to create that. For that we need to draw a section at a particular angle. So let's try to do that. So for that I need to create a datum plane. I need to create a datum plane. So for that, what I do, I use go to home, create a datum plane, say at an angle, okay, and select XZ plane, this plane, and then around Z axis, and let's say the 45 degree. Okay. If you want to visualize how I have created this plane, you can make it bigger just for your understanding. So you see, I have created a plane something like this. Okay, you set size of it. The plane is now created. So next thing what we'll do, I will try to draw a sketch on that particular plane that we created. So for that I create a new sketch. The plane, I'll make it in the first quadrant, flip it again. Okay, so now it is in X and Y, and just say okay. So in order to avoid confusion, I'll hide all other sketches, whatever we drew through previously. So you can come out of it and then pick them using shift button and then hide them. And this is the new sketch. So I edit with rollback. I go back to the sketcher mode. So now it is in sketcher mode. So now we can try to make the groove which I wanted to do. So for that I will use a similar strategy what we used previously using a studio spline, and then we can control it using dimensions. So what I do, I just make, if I can quickly zoom in a little bit. Okay, so what I do, I take the studio spline and then I create 6 points randomly, just like that. First point, second point, third, something like this, fifth, randomly 6 points, something like this. Okay, so as I said, we forgot to remove the auto dimensioning. So I'll do Control Z, or I will delete this sketch completely. Remove auto dimensioning, draw your serious line, and then 3, 5, 6. So 6 points I have taken. And now let's try to constrain one by one. So first let's finish the vertical dimensioning. So with respect to x-axis, the first point, I will try to dimension it by 13, something like this. The next one, let's say 19. And the next one is 30. And the fourth one is 80. Fifth one is 125. Last one, let's say 160. So with this, our vertical dimensions are done. Okay. Now let's move to the horizontal dimensions. So for that, I'll just so first I'll take this to be with respect to, I'll make it 9.5, and then this one to be 8.5, this to be, third one to be 12, and this fourth one to be 21.6, and fifth one to be at 20, and the last one at 17. Okay, so now if you see, our profile is completely constrained. The sketch is fully constrained. So what next I do is, similarly, I have to do a mirror. So what I do, I go to mirror curve, then pick this, and this is my center axis. I have done the mirroring here. Just say OK. And then I finish the close the top loop and the bottom loop using a bottom loop maybe with a straight line. Okay. And the bottom one using a circle with a 3-point circle. And then I can remove the bottom portion. I don't need this one. And because of this constraint, it is taking over constraint. I'll delete these two. Okay. So now this is completed. Maybe I will constrain with this diameter so that it is constrained fully. Okay. Now the sketch is fully constrained. Okay. So the remaining we'll see it in the next part. Thank you.